Hello everybody! Welcome to Power Happy Hour. As you're coming on, take a moment and say hello or like it so that I know that you are joining me and I'll be able to see you. So tonight we're going to be focusing on hip opening and some upper body strengthening. We're going to try to work on flying lizard. So if you've not done flying lizard before, you might find that you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And when we try to do it, you might be a little bit confused since I'll be all the way over there doing it. But I'll definitely turn my body so that you can see. It's an arm balance. It's hard, so don't feel discouraged or feel like you shouldn't be joining me because of it. It's fine. It's just going to be an option that we're going to be working towards. So, we're going to get started in a child's pose. So if you want to find your way down onto your mat, I'm just going to make sure that my my camera is plugged in so that it doesn't die. And one of my children just threw something down the stairs, it sounds like. So hopefully it wasn't anything important. Now let me just make sure that I am connected here. Right. Okay, there we go. So, like I said, finding your way into a child's pose and with your arms extended if that feels okay. We're going to bring our big toes together, knees really wide, since we're going to be working on opening up those hips. I am not very prepared, it seems. Okay, so find your way to your child's pose. If you're listening to my playlist, you can start it now if you'd like to. We're just going to sink our chest down. Try to take your knees nice and wide. And just move around here. So you can sway a little bit. Maybe try to inch your arms out. Just kind of settling into your body, seeing how you're feeling. Noticing anywhere that feels a little bit tense or tight. Just starting to slow down in the breath. So long, deep inhales all the way down to the belly. Try to let your back expand as much as you can. And just really seeing how this feels in the fronts of your hips, down your back and your glutes. Even in your chest, upper back. We're just going to take a couple more breaths here. So just bringing your mind anywhere in your body that maybe feels a little bit extra tense or tight or sore. Just reminding yourself to be kind to those parts of your body. And then if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, the one that I'm using today is I am worthy. Just repeating it in your mind a few times. On your next inhale, you're just going to bring yourself up a little bit. Walk your hands over towards the left. Press into your left hand and try to reach as long out through that right arm as you can. Send really deep inhales and exhales to that side body. And then we're gonna just lift gently all the way over to the other side. So you're pressing into your right hand, reaching your left arm as far as you can. And then gently bringing yourself back to center. Just scoot your knees in a little tiny bit. We're going to come up slightly. So I'm going to tuck my toes under. You don't have to. We're going to come almost into all fours, but you have your hips back. Because we're going to just focus on doing a little bit of cat-cow only in the shoulders. So pull your belly in, get your low back nice and secure, and you're just going to roll those shoulders back, bringing your chest forward, and then rolling them forward. Lift your back, chin to your chest. So try not to bring any arch into your low back. You're just focusing on that upper body. Let's do a couple more like this. And then come back to center. Find your way down onto your forearms. Spread your hands really wide, and we're just going to make some little circles here. So just getting a little bit of movement into those shoulders, into those hips. We'll take that circle in the opposite direction. And then coming back through center, just take a second. You're going to bring your right hand over towards your left elbow and then back out, and then your left hand to your right elbow and back out. So a couple of times just rotating in those arms. Noticing any sensations you have going through the arms. One more on each side. And then walking your hands out a little bit, bring your hips up. We're just going to start to bring our chest down like you're coming towards playful puppy, and then you're going to bring yourself back up slightly. So just lifting and lowering a couple of times. Seeing if you can bring your chest down towards the ground. Maybe your chin can tap. Maybe you need to bring your nose down. Maybe your forehead needs to come down. So it'll just depend on how open you are through the armpits, your upper back, your chest. And then gently bringing those hands back. Find your way to downward facing dog. So bending the knees a whole lot here. Get your spine as long as you can. Take a few long breaths. Maybe move around through the legs. And then gazing forward, we're going to walk our feet up to our hands. Lift yourself halfway, long through the spine. As you exhale, fold down. Keep your knees really bent so your belly and thighs can come towards each other. And then let's roll all the way up, reaching tall. Lengthen long. Grab hold of your opposite elbows, and we're just going to kind of tilt from one side to the other. Try to bring those elbows up towards the ceiling so you're getting that armpit stretch. And then lengthening the arms back up over the head. Take your palms together, bring them down to your heart center. Take a moment here, bring that intention back into your mind. I am worthy. On your next inhale, reach the arms back over the head. As you exhale, bend your knees really deep. Find your way into your forward fold. Keep your knees bent. We'll lift halfway, long through your spine. Just pedal your legs a little here. As you exhale, plant your hands down. Let's step back towards a plank. We're going to hold it. See if you can just let that middle of your chest drop down. It's almost like you're shrugging up towards the ceiling. And then we'll press into the arms and lift that center of the back up. So a couple of times like that. You can come down onto your knees if you need to. You can even stick your butt back a little bit so that you're not putting all of the weight into your arms. We'll do a couple more. Just little shrugs. And then elbows, or not elbows, knees down, elbows in, lower down onto your belly. And let's lift up just with the chest. Exhale, coming down, forehead to the floor. You might need to look to see what I'm talking about here, but you're going to keep those hands where they are. Squeeze the elbows in, and then the hands are going to lift off the ground, elbows towards the ceiling, and back down. So a few times like that, just warming up the shoulders in a whole bunch of different ways. And then press into the hands. Come through all fours, back to downward facing dog. Pedal out the legs here. So from here, we're going to go through a couple rounds of sun salutation A. So when it feels good, looking forward, walk your feet up. Keep the knees bent in your fold, and then lift halfway, lengthen long. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it all the way up, and all the way back down. Lift halfway, long through your spine. Plant your hands, step your way back into plank. You can come to your knees if you need to. Shift forward before you lower. Find your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Back to downward facing. So you can take cat-cow there if you need to. Don't feel pressured to take that chaturanga. Gazing forward, step your feet back up to the top of the mat. We'll lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reach all the way up, lengthen tall. Same thing again. Keep the knees bent as you fold forward. Lift up halfway. Exhale, folding, stepping, maybe hopping if you feel like it, back to downward or back to plank. Move through chaturanga, upward facing dog, back to downward facing. Pedaling here. See if you can tilt your tailbone a little bit higher. Keep your knees bent if you need to. And then gazing forward, step to the top of the mat. We'll lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll it up one more time. Exhale down. Lift up halfway. And planting the hands, step your way back to plank. Shift it forward, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. All the way back to downward facing. Feet wide when you get here. Walk your hands back halfway. And we're going to sink down and up. So try to get those knees to point out to the side, starting to bring some movement, some external rotation. When it feels good, we're going to start to walk our hands back. Find your way into a nice Balasana, yogic squat at the back of your mat. You can shift around a little here. So while you're here, take a moment, bring that intention back into your mind. I am worthy. Just reminding yourself that you are worthy without the approval of somebody else. When it feels good, we're going to walk ourselves out into a plank. Press into your hands. You're going to lift up your right leg, holding. Come onto your knees if you need to, or keep that foot down. We're going to lift downward facing. Keep that right leg lifted high, shift it forward, find your way back towards your plank. That right foot is still lifted, all the way back up. Coming forward, back up, and forward. Back up, this time bend your knee, bring your foot over towards the left, and draw some really big circles. Opposite direction here. You can do this on your knees if you need to. When it feels good, looking forward, roll yourself up, find a nice crescent lunge, reach tall. When it feels good, wait till your front foot, back leg's gonna lift, find your way into warrior three. And then we're going to bring that back foot back down. Warrior one in the legs. Arms are going to come up. Your left hand is going to open up. Keep your feet where they are. You're just going to open your hips a little and then close. Keep that right knee pointing forward the whole time. Just a little massage through that hip joint. The next time that you open up, find your way to goddess, holding here. Hands to the inside of the thighs. Let's press the shoulder down. And other side. Breathe in here. Whew. And then we're going to lengthen up nice and long. Reach the arms up over the head. And we'll just cartwheel the arms over towards the left side of your mat. Step your way back to a plank. Move through vinyasa. And back to downward facing. Take the feet nice and wide. Walk your hands back. Find your way into your malasana. Straight into it this time. Move around. Dance to music. And we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side on this side. So we're going to walk our way out to plank, and we're going to lift our left leg up. So taking yourself out, lifting up that left leg, holding, and then you'll set it up, 3-leg dog. Roll yourself forward, 3-leg plank. Back up, and forward. Last time here, as you send your leg up, bend the knee, take it over towards the right, and then draw some really big circles. Opposite direction. And then taking it back up, we're going to step all the way forward. Find that crescent lunge. Reaching your arms, squeeze everything in. Hands to your heart center, shift your weight to your front leg, find that warrior 3. As always, you can keep that foot tapped down. And then back foot's gonna come down, warrior 1 in the legs. Focus on keeping your left knee pointing forward. We're just gonna swing open towards a warrior 2, but without adjusting, and then close back up. So a little massage in that front leg. Hopefully starting to feel a little bit of openness in those shoulders. And then the next time that you open up, find your way to goddess. Shifting around here. We're going to see if we can come a little bit lower, like in a really weird wide malasana. Holding here, see if you can press those knees open. Stay engaged in the low body, so you're squeezing the booty. When it feels good, we're going to come up into that star, reach really tall, and then turn yourself to the right side of your mat. Step back for your plank. Let's hold. So squeeze your butt, send out through those heels, chest forward, press the floor away from you, whole body's engaged. Shifting the shoulders forward, let's bring the knees down. We're just gonna take the elbows in and then do a couple of tricep push-ups on the knees. If you can do them on your toes, you're welcome to. And let's come all the way down. Hands back behind you, clasping, press into your pelvis. Let's reach the chest forward. If it feels good, see if you can lift your legs. And then holding here, don't forget to breathe. See if you can take the soles of your feet together. Kind of bring those heels in towards the booty, and then back out. Don't forget to breathe here. Just move at your own pace. You don't have to move as quickly or as slowly as I am if you want to move faster. One more time here. Bring it down, release everything. Press yourself back. Find your way into a child's pose just for a moment. Catch your breath. Bring that intention back into your mind. I'm worthy. bring the right leg up nice and high. Bend your knee, open your hip up. See if you can look at it underneath your left armpit. And then we're going to take some crunches here. You're going to bring your right knee out to the outside of your right elbow. So shifting yourself forward. See if you can tap the elbow all the way back a couple of times. Really focus on that crunch. Then next time you come forward, you're going to step the foot to the outside of the right hand. Nice dragon lunge. Squeeze the knee in towards your shoulder. So you're not letting that knee drop out. You got it squeezing in nice and tight. And then we're just going to shift a little. So you're going to shift forward and back on that back foot. Keep squeezing the glutes. See if you can relax your chest forward a little bit. Maybe you're up on your fingertips and you can slowly start to come down. Maybe you can bend the elbows a little. And then we're going to walk our hands to the inside of the mat. Your back foot's going to pivot and you're going to sink down, finding your way into Skandasana. So that nice deep squat. Maybe your hands can come off the ground, but if you need to keep your hands down or lift your heel, you can. And then point and flex that straight leg. When it feels good, we're going to walk ourselves back into that dragon lunge, long through the spine, and then come back over. So just a few times like this. Finding that big rotation in the hips. Last time here. And then straighten out that right leg. Turn your toes towards the long edge of the mat. Grab opposite elbows, rock it out. When it feels good, we're going to lengthen up nice and long. You're going to walk your hands over to the left side. Step yourself to a plank. Just like we did before, on the knees, elbows hugging in. Take a couple of tricep push-ups. So if you can do this on your toes effectively, you can do that. I'm going to stay on my knees. One more time, coming all the way down. Take your hands back behind you, clasping. Let's open up through the chest. Maybe you can lift your legs up. Try to keep your pelvis pressing down into the ground. You're focusing on reaching your lowest ribs forward rather than arching that back as much as you can. When it feels good, go ahead and release everything down, and you're going to roll over onto your left side. Take your right knee up towards your shoulder, rotate your ankle a few times. And then you're either going to hold the back of your thigh, or maybe you can hold onto your toe. We're going to start to lengthen that leg up and back down. So if it feels all right to bring the hand or the arm inside the knee, you can. You can bend the left leg if you need to. This radiator is on and melting me right now. The next time you have your leg up, see if you can kind of start to bring yourself into that hand to big toe pose, but laying down on your side. Maybe you can bring the leg a little higher towards your face. When you're ready for it, release. Take the sole of the foot to the inside of that opposite leg, and we're going to come to sit up and find a twist. On your next exhale, unwind it all the way. Now you're facing the back of the mat or the left side of the mat. Pedal out your legs. And then we'll do it all on the other side. So when you're ready for it, left leg's gonna come up, bending the knee, bring it over towards the right side. See if you can look under your armpit and see it. And then just like before, we're gonna take those knee tucks to the outside of the elbow. So coming forward, hugging it, all the way back. Maybe you can bend the elbows a little bit on the forward and back. Keep it going. This next time, you'll step your foot to the outside of the hands. Find that dragon lunge. So you want to focus on keeping that knee hugging in. Your left sitting bone is reaching down towards the ground, so don't let this hip roll downward. Keeping it hugging in. We'll just shift forward and back. See if it feels good to kind of settle in a little bit further with the upper body. Maybe you can bend the elbows. And then we're gonna walk our hands towards the center of the mat. Adjust your right leg, sink yourself into that Skandasana. Maybe you can point and flex the foot. Hands can be off the ground if they need to, or if you can like tell my hands are back almost behind me to make sure I don't fall backwards. All right, so now we're gonna do that rotation again. So we're gonna shift ourselves forward, finding that dragon lunge, and then back around. And 2 more times, so shifting it, and back around. Moving at your own pace, modifying it as you need to. Last time here, holding. Hopefully your legs are burning a little bit. And then you're gonna press into this left leg, shift yourself. Woo. When it feels good, coming up halfway, nice and long, you're gonna walk yourself back over to the right side of your mat. Step yourself back to a plank. We'll do 4 more of those tricep push-ups on the knees. So elbows in, lower down and up. This is the kind of shape you want your arms to make when we do that flying lizard later. Come all the way down onto your belly. Hug those elbows in. And then we're going to lift the hands and lower, lifting them up and down. When it feels good, sweep those arms out behind you. You're going to just take your thumbs to clasp. You can keep your forehead on the ground or block if you need to, but we're going to reach the arms as far as you can and then bend the elbows and lengthen again. So just working on those triceps. Go ahead and change which thumb is on top, and we'll do a couple more. And then go ahead and release them. Oh. And roll over onto your side. Just like before, we'll start by bringing that knee in, giving it a hug, maybe rotate your ankle a few times. Taking a moment to release any negative self-thoughts that you're having. For some reason, we really love focusing on that negative self-talk rather than allowing ourselves to praise ourselves. And I think it probably has something to do with the fact that we're kind of told that we should be humble all the time. And I say, fuck that. You're amazing. You should let people know that you believe it. So hand on the back of the leg, maybe onto the toes. And we'll just lift and lower the leg a few times. So yeah, we've lived long enough having to kind of pretend that we don't like ourselves, or just fully not liking ourselves because we were told we're not supposed to. And now we should spend more time liking ourselves. So just like on the other side, your bottom leg can move out. You can bring your head down, maybe reaching that leg closer. Whoop, hopefully not falling backwards. Your bottom leg can be bent a little if you need to. Couple more breaths here. And then we're gonna take that leg onto the floor in front of the opposite leg. Sit yourself up. Give that knee a hug, finding a twist. On your next exhale, you're just gonna unwind, coming to face forward, whatever direction that is for you. Soles of the feet together. We're gonna do a little bit more opening up the hips before we try that arm balance. So shifting forward and back a few times. Letting the soles of the feet come together, the knees dropping out. If it feels okay for you, you can bring the soles open like a book. Maybe shifting around a little. Try to keep that belly nice and tight. And then I'm gonna have you bring your right leg out in front of you. Left ankle, you're gonna take over your right knee. You can bring your sole of your right foot down to the ground and your knee towards your chest. If this is too much, keep that leg straight. If this feels totally fine, go ahead and grab your foot with your elbow pit, your knee with your other elbow pit. Let's lengthen out that right leg. Sit up nice and tall. Rock your baby around. And then when it feels good, if this is good, okay, if this is good, see if you can start to shift the sole of the foot towards the inside of your chest. Maybe you can grab hold of it with your left arm and bring that knee out to the side. And then if this feels totally fine and you want to try to take it a little bit further, take the sole of the foot with the right hand, your left arm's going to slide under, trying to bring that knee up towards your shoulder. And then you can just kind of hang out here. If you have elephant trunk pose and you want to take it, I like to rock back and then lift. And lower back down. Whew. Shift around a little bit if you took that, and we'll do it on the other side. So the only place that I want you to come to definitely is towards here. If this is too much for your hip, you can come here instead. Everything else is just optional. So we're just doing a one leg hip opener. You can bring that foot in, pressing your chest towards your leg, see how this feels. Maybe it's a little bit tighter than the other side was, definitely is for me. You can stay here and rock if you don't feel like grabbing hold of the leg. If it feels okay, taking the leg into that baby cradle, rock it around. Just like before, if this feels fine and you want to try to bring the sole of the foot towards the center of your chest, cool. Maybe you want to grab hold of it and bring your knee out so you're like in a seated half happy baby. If you find that you're dumping your weight back in your upper back and you're rounding really high, let's take it back a couple of steps. We want to be able to be up nice and tall. Just like before, you can change, grabbing hold of the right foot with the left hand, and maybe bringing that right hand underneath you. Still keeping that back nice and long so you're not hunching over. Maybe both hands can come down. If you want to try elephant trunk pose, like I said before, I like to lean back to kind of use inertia to press myself up. And then we'll go ahead and release. Whew. Soles of the feet together again, just rock around a little. And then we're gonna find our way back into downward facing. So turning to the right side of your mat, shift your way back into your downward facing dog. Pedal it out here. Press your chest back if you can, maybe make some little spinal waves. And then I'm gonna have you bring your feet towards each other, walk your hands back, start to sink the hips down, find your way into a nice little toe stand, lifting high. You can stay here, just working on this sole, foot strength, ankle strength. Maybe even coming higher with your arms up over your head if you like, not cobra. If you like crow pose, my brain's not working because my kids stressed me out today. If you like crow pose, try to bring your knees up into your armpits, hands out in front, bending the elbows back towards your legs. Start to shift your weight. If you have it, you can just float up into it. If you're here and you're not sure, maybe just one leg, maybe both. Just trying to breathe for a couple of breaths wherever you are. I lost my concentration because, again, kids stressing me out. I can hear them screaming at each other. Hopefully you can't. Lifting nice and high. Maybe you can do crow again if you're not still holding it. And then we'll come back out. Step those feet out nice and wide. Coming into your malasana. Just move around a little here. Maybe rotate your ankles or give them, not your ankles, your wrists. Give them a little squeeze. So when we move towards our lunge, I'm going to do everything facing this way, and I'm going to start on my left leg so you can see what I'm doing with my arm. Okay? So just find your way back into downward facing. We're going to reach up with our left leg, open the hips up. See if you can bring your foot over towards the right. Maybe you can see it under your armpit. Try to stack your hips. Keep your chest facing straight down. And then we're going to bring the foot outside of that left hand. Bring the back knee down, finding a nice lizard lunge. So if you have a block or a pillow or something and you'd like, let me scooch back a little, and I'll turn myself a little. So you can maybe come down onto it. Try to keep your spine long. So if you're, again, rounding your back for any reason, try not to do that. We're going to start by just turning the knee out to the corner. See if you can let it drop. The toe out to the corner, let it drop out. Sole of the foot's off the ground. Maybe you can press or twist. Squeeze the glute on that back leg. Maybe even kind of pulling the back knee forward a little bit so you're not just hanging in your joints there. And then we're going to come back to center. I'm going to turn myself a little bit more. Hopefully I don't kick that. Okay, so we're going to try for our flying lizard. So just like we did seated, you're going to bring your left arm underneath your left leg. So you're going to come out a little bit, bring it under, place the hand on the outside of the foot, and then you got some options. So if you can do the splits and you know that you want to straighten the leg out in front of you, that's cool. Mine goes over to the side a little, but you can also just hug it in. We're going to pick up the back leg, start to bend the elbows a little. Maybe you can slide the arm out and see if you can get your back leg up. Or maybe you can't. If you can't, it's fine. It's really freaking hard. I was actually just shocked right now that I could do that. Once you have taken it, or whatever you want to do, we're just going to heel toe the foot across towards the opposite hip. Adjust as you need to and find your way into a nice, yummy pigeon pose. If you fucking hate pigeon pose, bring your back knee in and just kind of sit. Maybe you can fully surrender here. On your next inhale, just coming back up onto your hands. Let me check the time. Okay, still time. Shift your way back into your downward facing. Woo. Shift around a little here. So we're just going to do that same thing on the other side. So starting out by bringing that right leg over your, up above you, over towards the left, see if you can see your foot under your armpit. And then from here, we're going to take the foot to the outside of the right hand. Back knee's going to come down. And we'll just get comfortable here. So you might notice this side is tighter than the other, or maybe the other side is tighter than this side. Just like before, you can use your block, you can put your forearms on it, but we're going to turn our toe out to the corner, let the knee drop out if it feels good. Maybe you can bring a little twist into it, but try to almost like you're trying to suck that back knee forward a little bit. Try not to put all of that pressure into your hip joint. Because hip joint injuries suck. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back to center, just like we did on the other side. You're going to take your right arm, hug it underneath your right leg. Maybe you just want to stop there. If it feels all right, back knee will come up. Start to shift your front leg forward. You'll bend in the elbows. Ooh. Maybe you can only kick. Maybe you can't kick at all. Whew. I'm going to try that one more time since I got it on the other side. You can use this left elbow as a shelf in your ribs if that feels okay. I don't really like that, but I know that some people like to do that. So let's see. There we go. Woo. Woo. And then just like before, take that foot across, just bringing your shin down, adjust as you need to. So you should feel this rotation in your hip, not in your knee. So you want the side of your thigh to come towards the ground. If you can't do that, again, this knee can come forward. Woo. Or you can take that seated figure of four again. Whew. Couple of breaths here. Maybe bring that intention back into your mind. I am worthy. Tell those negative thoughts to fuck off. And then we're just gonna bring ourselves over onto the outside of that hip. Take both legs straight out in front of you. Move the flesh away from your sitting bones. Nice and long. If you need to, you can put a block underneath your knees or a pillow so that you're not straightening your legs. See if you can maybe scoop your butt out behind you so that your sitting bones are reaching towards the wall behind you. And we're just gonna relax here. So don't get too fixated on reaching for your feet. You can bring your hands by your sides. I just want you to focus on keeping your spine long. You're trying to tilt your whole pelvis forward. So that here's your pelvis, here's your legs. You're trying to tilt it all together rather than rounding in your backs. That's why I'm saying maybe you can scoop the hips out behind you. Belly and thighs trying to touch each other, be friends, they love each other. We'll take a couple more breaths here. See if you can just lengthen a little bit more, keeping that spine long, trying to reach out through the tailbone. If your knees are bent, maybe you can kind of inch them just a tiny bit further out. And then we're going to bring our hands down, press ourselves back up, soles of the feet are going to come to the ground, and just windscreen wiper the knees side to side. See if you can get the bottom knee to tap in, just kind of rotating inward. And then if you're facing the long edge of the mat like I am, just come to face the short edge. Scoot yourself forward so you have space behind you. Just starting out, grab hold of the shins. If that feels bad, you can hold the knees. We're just gonna let our chin drop down, rounding the upper back. Maybe shift your head side to side. And then slowly roll yourself back down onto your back. Woo! Arms up over the head. Make a cactus shape with the arms. Knees are in the chest. We're just going to drop them over towards the left. See if you can keep the arms flat down on the ground. So if it feels okay from here, you're going to take your right hand, the fingertips are going to come up towards the ceiling, and see if you can reach your fingers down towards your hip without lifting your elbow off the ground. And then we'll just come back up. So I'm not reaching the floor. I don't know if you can see, but I can't reach the floor. But I'm still doing the movement, just rotating in that shoulder a little. Don't get to where it hurts. Just a little nice, relaxed movement. And then we're going to pull in through our core, bring the knees over to the other side, relaxing here. And then same thing again, fingertips up towards the ceiling and just rotating that arm forward as far as you can without it hurting, and then back. And then we're going to come back to center. Soles of the feet down onto the ground. Bring your hands right where your hips and thighs meet. Press that low body away. Whew. Go ahead and release, and then just tilting that low back like you're trying to suck the butt crack up towards your up towards your shoulder blades, and then back down. So it's just like a little, almost like a cat-cow, just on that low body. On your next exhale, go ahead and release that. Knees into the chest one last time. Rock around a little, releasing out any tension. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet down to the ground. Lengthen those legs out. Arms out by your sides. Try to relax out through the shoulders. Maybe let your toes drop out to the sides. Shift around in the head so that your neck is relaxed. Taking a couple of really deep inhales in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. One more time like that. And then just allow your breath to settle back into its natural state. Bring your awareness to your heels and the backs of your hands, just letting them feel heavy. Noticing the way that the air feels on your palms, the tops of the feet. Just try to move up a little bit to like the knees and the elbows, allowing them to be soft. Noticing the way that the elbows feel against the ground. Noticing the way that space between the backs of the knees and the floor feels. And coming to the shoulders and the hips. Again, just feeling that heaviness. Imagining them kind of softly indenting into the floor. Bringing your awareness to that center of your belly and just feeling it lift and lower with your breath. Taking it up into your chest. Seeing how your ribs feel as they kind of shift apart from each other on your inhale and sink back towards each other on your exhale. Coming up into your jaw, try to let it be released, nice and soft. Your tongue loose in your mouth. Forehead soft. Feeling the back of your head against the floor. And then just bring that mantra back into your mind. I am worthy. Repeating it again and again. Pressing out any doubts that you have creeping into your mind. I am worthy. Start to bring some movement into your toes, into your fingertips. And just gently making those movements slightly bigger, moving up through the arms. If it feels good, lengthen the arms up over the head. Out, reach out long through the toes, take a deep breath in. And then just bend one knee at a time, gently roll over onto one side. Take a moment to relax here, just noticing if you're feeling any differently now than you were at the start of our practice. Releasing any judgments that you maybe had about your ability to do any of those poses. Just reminding yourself how amazing you are for showing up and doing this. Giving yourself some time to focus on yourself. You can start blinking your eyes open, gently start to press yourself up. Find a nice comfortable seat. Take a deep breath, let your shoulders be relaxed, maybe move your head around a little bit. And then we'll take a deep breath in, reach the arms up, repeating your mantra out loud, I am worthy. Hands to your heart center, give gratitude to your body. Thank you all so much for joining me. Please make sure to leave me a comment or a like or something so that I know that you've practiced with me. Take a moment to go look at my page about the retreat that Karina and Laura are putting on next week that I am doing a couple of the classes for. And otherwise, I will see you, hopefully, Monday for that, or Tuesday I'll be back here. Bye, everybody.